Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now. Yesterday I received an email from a blogger known as Glenn Woolsey, and I've heard his name before. What should I get of these two monitor setups to go with a Mac Pro? Each work out at the same price. Two 23-inch Apple Cinema displays or one 30-inch Apple Cinema display. And a while ago, I had been writing about my questioning on what kind of setup should I get for my monitors, and I was really sold on a 30-inch monitor as well. Again, I love having tons of desktop real estate, and so I had boiled it down to going between the Dell, the HP, or the Apple for a 30-inch display. And like I said, I was really sold on that. I love, having a lot of screen real estate sitting in front of me at all times. And I've got to hang on just a second. Got a puppy. Puppy just got her hair cut. Come here, puppy. Oops, sorry. Puppy just hit her head. Pixie, you gonna help me answer this question? Okay. So anyway, yeah, she's very naked right now. She feels naked without her fur. So I boiled it down to these three brands. Now, since I had a PC, it was less important that I had Apple because, what it boiled down to for that was paying more for the Apple brand and not really getting a lot out of it. So then it came down to either the HP or the Dell and seeing which price was better, which was more competitive. And that ended up, the price that I was ready to boil it down to was the Dell. And around that time, I started doing the video and asked Dell if they wanted to do some stuff with this video, this cutting edge thing. And they said, sure. I said, well, would I be able to, get a couple of monitors to review? And lo and behold, you ask in the web chat, what is monitor? As everybody asks every day, what are those monitors? And it will answer what these monitors are. Specifically, the IRC chatbot will say, Chris is sitting in front of two Dell UltraSharp 307 WFP monitors, 30 inches at 2560 by 1600 a piece. So that's a 30-inch monitor is going to give you that amount of resolution. Obviously, you're sold on the Apple brand, so I'm not going to be able to convince you to just have a Dell monitor sitting in front of you. Although the Dell will give you the advantage of having a USB port, or a couple of them, as well as the ability there's a card reader on the side of the monitor, so you get extra USB ports and a card reader without taking up any more desktop space. So the idea is, if you don't want to spend a lot of money, or as much money as you would just to buy the Apple brand, I would recommend an HP or a Dell over the Apple. But if you're an Apple head and you're willing to spend the extra $100 on nothing more than a logo on your monitor's bezel, then by all means, go with the Apple. So the question is one 30-inch versus two 23 inches. You actually get more space. This is again from one of the commenters in that original thread on my blog when I was going through this process, this thinking process. He was saying and suggesting that you get more real estate to play with two 23-inch monitors than you do with one 30-inch. Now I can tell you, I could probably get along with two 23s as much as I could with one 30-inch, but you'd be surprised how quickly my desktop fills up on a 30-inch screen. And then when I go to use the laptop, it's just kind of crazy because I don't have as much space to play with. Having a second monitor is very nice. So on my second monitor, the one behind me right now, I've got my chat, my IM, my desktop widgets, things that I want to have open but not necessarily staring at. If I have, I've got VNC, which is a way that I can connect to the Mac that's running the live stream. I pop that up in a VNC window. I can throw it on my second monitor. Having one monitor, you really can't do that. Having two monitors, you have the ability to keep whatever you're focused on your main screen and whatever you're not focused on your secondary screen. So if you're asking for my recommendation of one 30-inch versus two 23s, I'd probably recommend two 23s. Now, if you can go with two 30 inches, by all means, let me tell you, you won't regret it. Not a single day. But I would recommend 2 over 1. And if you think about it, if that 30-inch fails or something happens, you're out of monitor, whereas if one of the 23 inches fails, you still have one to fall back on. So that's my recommendation. But again, I'm going to ask you to reconsider going with the Apple brand and going with a better price monitor, especially if that better price monitor can get you more features, and all you're missing is that logo. And if you feel bad about that logo, maybe someone needs to come up with a way to cover up the brand in front of the on the bezel on the monitor, and so that you could have any monitor and it would match everything. So that's my answer to the question. Does a true geek ever regret a technology purchase? Oh yes, oh yes. In fact, I'll be getting to that in a later question that we answer today.